WMMS.com will have the exhaustive list of information there for you. But otherwise, you got 2 for KISS right now. I'll see you there. Caller 10, 216-578-1007 or 800-348-1007.
Summertime means beers, barbecues, and fishing the occasional drunk friend out of the lake while he searches for his arm. Hey, buddy, you find it? This is the Alan Cox Show.
$35192. Want to send a text to me? I'll see it there. AlanCoxShow.com. If you need to hit me up on social, if you want to watch the show live, you can do it there. Who's helping out today? Merc Shorplong. Thanks so much. Merc Shorplong is assisting back there in the video department today. Guardians play tonight. They lost last night 5-4. That was the first of 3 against the Boston Red Sox. I'll try to get it back tonight. 7:10 is the first pitch here on MMS and on the iHeartRadio app, if you listen there. If you don't, it's still on the app. Yeah. It's not contingent on you listening to it. I'm just saying that it is there for you. Saturday night, we'll return with 2 hours to midnight. It's 120 minutes of nothing but metal. We were off last Saturday night. We'll return live this Saturday. 10 to midnight, me, Corey Roddick, Pat Butler. We play brand new metal, play classic songs, play local bands. I'll be having a conversation with Geezer Butler from Black Sabbath this Saturday night on the show. So if you're into metal, if that is your vibe, man, then join us on Saturday night because it's a lot of fun. It's 2 hours to midnight. If you want to submit something, whether it's just a request or your band, 2htm@WMMS.com. It is only a live show. People are asking me where the podcast is. There is no podcast of it. So if you're not able to listen live, you're left with just the playlist at WMMS.com from that week. And maybe you can recreate the show with that playlist in your own home or business or place of worship. Something to consider. And if you listen on the iHeartRadio app, you can leave us messages there, too.
All right, it's Owen and Willoughby. Bill, I got to take a shot at you, man. I love you, but here it is. Anytime someone's got something they don't want to talk about on air, you're the first guy in line making little side comments, mumbles, grumbles, hee-hees, ha-has, poking, prodding, trying to get them to loosen the knot on what they're trying to not say. You just broke up with your lady, she broke up with you. Let's hear about it, man. What's so private? Let's hear about it.
I said I broke up with her.
Owen and Willoughby, Bill, demands to know the details.
Didn't sound like a demand.
He wants to
pretty
know.
Chill, actually.
Well, he took the time to leave a message. That guy wants to know. You'll get no quarter, Owen, from Bill Squire here
I'm not going to
on
say
this
anything.
program. Nothing.
Silence.
He's already said. You see, they arrested Jay Johnston for January 6th.
Is that why
Oh, finally.
Finally, Jesus Christ. Yeah, they got this guy. I remember Jay Johnston from Mr. Show.
Yeah.
That was the first time I saw him.
Mr. Show, he was on
Arrested
Bob's Burgers.
Development.
Yeah, Arrested Development.
He's Jimmy Pesto on
Yeah.
Bob's Burgers, and they got a picture of him in the whole January 6th thing, and people started passing it around. They're like, is this the guy from – he's an actor. There were a couple of celebrities that were caught up in that. There was a guy that another dude ended up getting prison time. He used to play in a band called Iced Earth, metal band that he was a guitar player for. I think he might have been a founding member. John somebody, I forget what his name was. But Jay Johnston, who's an actor who's appeared in a lot of things, you might recognize him if you saw him. They arrested him today and charged him with felony obstruction. He was in Anchorman, right? He was one of the other news teams that came along.
Well, it was funny because when that picture first surfaced of him, everybody's like, oh, this guy looks just like that guy from, and everybody's like, but it couldn't be him.
That's what I thought too.
And then it was him, and then he got, and here we are 2 years later, and he finally got arrested.
Yeah, still scooping people up.
That's why Bill broke up with his girlfriend. She was a Jay Johnston.
She was
stan.
at the Capitol on January 6th.
Sorry. She loved Jay Johnston so much she wouldn't even denounce him after January 6th.
But it was funny how you don't see Jimmy Pesto anymore on Bob's Burgers, and he was like a main antagonist on that show because I don't think they got somebody else to voice the character. He haven't been. As soon as that picture was confirmed to be him, he got written off that show. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Right. Mary said it. Bill's ex was at the Capitol on January 6th. She took a poop on Nancy Pelosi's desk. Are you happy now? Are you happy now to reopen that wound?
So it's a legal matter. I can't talk about
Yes.
that.
He can't discuss an ongoing investigation. So they arrested Jay Johnston. They arrested a funeral home owner from Long Island, Peter Maloney. He was identified by the online network of sedition hunters. There are people out there online looking for traitors and finding plenty of them. This is a guy who runs a funeral home out on Long Island, and they grabbed him. And, boy, whatever. I don't know what to tell you. All the people texting me about the words that they missed in spelling bees in elementary school and scarred them for life, I guess. It is a very, unless you are somebody who finds yourself in those circuits, it can be terrifying if you're just in class and they go, okay, today we're going to spell some words. Mike in Akron, he's like, in the 4th grade, I misspelled pigeon. It was the first round. It was the first word. I was the first contestant.
That's
in the 4th grade.
Hilarious, but like a bummer too.
But I could see a 4th grader not knowing how to spell pigeon. Like it's not, that's not a word that you give to a high schooler.
But it's like the Brian and Regan bit where it's like the first kid gets out on purpose, like cat, K-A-T.
I'm out.
And he's like, I knew there's 2 T's.
Yeah. Well, it's not for everyone.
I don't know. I'd be a lot better off if I would have studied more when I was growing up, But where it all went wrong was the day they started the spelling bee. Because up until that day, I was an idiot, but nobody else knew, When the spelling bee day, popped up. All right, kids, up against a wall. It's time for public humiliation. Spell a word wrong, sit down in front of your friends. That's great for little egos. Hey, look at me, I'm a moron. I wasn't even close. I was using numbers and stuff. That's why I admired that kid who spelled it wrong on purpose so he could sit down, He knew he wasn't going to win, so why stand there for 3 hours? First round, cat, K-A-T, I'm out of here. Then as he passed you, I know there's 2 T's.
It's Mary's idol.
Yep.
She cries when she talks to him.
I cried.
Cries.
One time, the first time I met him, and I was
Would
drunk.
you cry? But you talked to him since?
Yeah. I don't cry every time I see him.
You don't?
No.
That would be a better story.
It's so beautiful.
If every time was like the first time.
No.
Oh. So it was just the first time.
Just the first
that
time.
intro, and you were drunk.
I was drunk. I was caught off guard. I didn't know that was happening.
Wait, you were caught off guard. You couldn't be caught off guard by being drunk. You were caught off guard by Brian Regan.
I was caught off guard by being drunk. I was like, this never happens. How did this even happen?
Where am I? I don't know where I am.
I get drunk about it. When I said no, I never had a show, and then all of a sudden now I'm drunk. Very easy.
Let's get drunk about it. You got ghosts in your blood. Let's do cocaine about it.
Yeah.
Oh. Has anybody watched the Arnold Schwarzenegger documentary on Netflix, by the way?
No, I haven't, but I have tried to watch Fubar.
It's terrible.
What's
really
that?
It's awful.
He had a documentary already.
Oh, that was
Muscle
a long time
Man
ago.
or
Pumping
Perfect
Iron?
10. Pumping Iron.
God, that was like in the 80s. That was a weightlifting documentary.
Mhm.
Oh, I thought it was just about him.
No,
He
I
was
think
kind of the breakout star.
the main
of it,
guy,
yeah.
yeah. Franco Columbo and these other guys. But Schwarzenegger was the breakout guy. But no, there is a documentary about him now on Netflix. And it's just called Arnold. Great name. Great name for it, Arnold. And he talks about I'd done the bad things, And
Man, where'd they come up with that name?
huh?
What?
Arnold?
Yeah.
Well, I mean,
It's pretty far-fetched.
I mean, I don't know. It's not an uncommon name. I mean, listen, what are you going to name a kid? Maybe it's a family name. What are you going to name a kid when the last name's Schwarzenegger?
No, I meant for the documentary.
Oh.
How did they manage to land on that?
Arnold?
Yeah.
They asked him at some point, in the documentary, he has a big whiteboard of possible working titles for the documentary. And then one by one, they're all crossed out. And so it's kind of cool to see the behind the scenes. He moves to the side, and there's the whiteboard. And the names they didn't use are crossed out. So, like, the Schwartz, that one's crossed out because I think Mel Brooks was going to sue. And then the...
He couldn't use the second half of his name.
Whoops.
The governor, all those things. So, yeah, it's interesting. I mean, Arnold Schwarzenegger is an interesting guy. He did a lot of stuff. He famously knocked up his housekeeper. That ended his marriage to Maria Shriver. He was in the Kennedy clan. Chris Pratt is his son-in-law now. Chris Pratt got remarried to Katherine Schwarzenegger. And so he's, talking about when he was the governor of California. And that was a big deal at the time. Now people don't think twice about celebrities in politics. They go, I know that guy. Let's make him president. Robert Kennedy's kid, RFK Jr., is running for president on the Democratic ticket. And this guy's kind of wacky. He's pretty anti-vax. He's got a lot of conspiracy theory notions. But it's still early enough in the process. Anybody can get ahead before in primary season. But he's doing, meetings and rallies and things. And they ask people, hey, what do you like about RFK Jr.? And they go, he's a Kennedy. Like, that's where people are coming from. I know that name. And so when Arnold Schwarzenegger was running for governor of California, everybody thought it was ridiculous because it was part of a recall election. They were recalling Gray Davis, who was the duly elected.
That's like one of his movies. Total recall. Recall election. I vote for him.
And California allows recall elections, which are kind of ridiculous, but there's a lot of ridiculous stuff out there. And so like 130 people, more than that, 300 people were running for governor at the time. And it was fundamentally considered ridiculous because there were so many celebrities, Gary Coleman and porn stars and whatever. And so when it was just Schwarzenegger on the Republican side, people were like, oh, this is going to be great. And then people couldn't, a lot of people that voted for Arnold Schwarzenegger as a goof. And they were like, he won? Oh, he won. Oh, he's the governor of the state. And by all accounts, I mean, I think he did a pretty good job. I think he was regarded as a pretty good governor. But the documentary is pretty wild for people who are interested at all. It was funny because, and this is kind of a known story in Hollywood lore, but I always love when it comes up, that they initially wanted O.J. Simpson to play the Terminator. And in this documentary, because they were like, this was your breakout role, was the Terminator. He's like, yeah, it was almost O.J. Simpson. Except the producers of the movie, James Cameron directed the first Terminator. That's kind of what blew him up too, right? It was James Cameron. They were like, nobody thought that O.J. Simpson could play a killer. And that's why they
didn't have that nice guy persona then.
Yeah, I know, but it's funny looking back. I mean, listen, the state of California couldn't convince people that he was a killing machine either, so he's a free man. Still looking for the real killer out there wherever he is. Is he still on Twitter? For a long time, it was
yours truly.
Yours truly. Hey, everybody, I'm OJ. But for a while, he's a big golfer. I bet he's got stuff to say about the PGA merger. But yeah, he was considered, and that was a decade before he killed two people. But
Allegedly.
OJ, huh?
I was waiting for you to say that.
Allegedly.
Yeah.
Well, he was found innocent.
He was found innocent.
I'm sorry, he was found not guilty.
So don't defame him.
He was found not guilty, but anyone with a with a working brain doesn't believe that O.J. didn't kill those people. I mean, the people on the jury said so. We let O.J. off as revenge for Reginald Denny, for not Reginald Denny,
Rodney King.
Rodney King. We let O.J. off as revenge for Rodney King. They had jurors on camera saying that like years later.
Think about, okay, O.J. didn't get convicted of those 2 murders, but think about all the money they have made off of him after that. I mean, we wouldn't have the Kardashians. We wouldn't have People versus O.J. Simpson. We wouldn't have,
Wait, O.J. makes money off the Kardashians?
No,
he
doesn't.
I don't know what he's talking about.
His Robert Kardashian.
I know that, but
But
I
it was such a
didn't-
big cultural event that
that is what
became
made them famous.
That launched those people,
tentpole
yeah.
for all these other.
You mean the
careers
O.J.
and stuff.
industrial complex?
Yeah.
Just the fascination with Court TV.
Nancy
Court
Grace and Ann Coulter and all these
TV.
people.
It was a horrible sacrifice, but it made a lot of money.
A horrible sacrifice. He had to murder 2 people to launch a lot of people's careers.
I mean,
I don't know what to tell you.
all these people who love the First 48 or Snapped, y'all are a part of the problem, so I don't want to hear it.
He did launch like crime television. That O.J. trial.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
And the People versus O.J. Simpson series is just done so well. Like, if I ever need to go to in between Surviving R. Kelly, if I'm just like eating food, I can pick an episode. I'm just like, I just want to watch it because I already know what happens, but I just know that I'm thoroughly entertained.
Remember the first game I played, preseason game I played? It was the 5th preseason game. They played 6 back then. It was in Cleveland. When we got back to Buffalo that night, we had the night off before we had to be up in Niagara Falls, our training camp the next day. And I'm out with a couple of the veterans, Tippy Day, Booker Edgerton, and we're
Well, anyway, he's talking about Buffalo when he famously played for the Buffalo Chargers. Who did he play for? Buffalo Bills.
Buffalo Bills.
Oh,
yeah.
how could I forget? You're sitting right there. The Bills, not the Chargers. Chargers are your team. Well, yeah, so he's out there, and you can find him addressing people there among the Hawaiian lilacs or whatever, wherever he lives. I guess he lives in Vegas now. I'm going to be in Vegas in a few weeks. Maybe I'll find out where O.J. lives. I have friends who live in Vegas. I'm sure they know. Maybe I'll find out, and I'll walk up, and I'll knock. Probably got a gate. I'll knock. And I'll ask him, I'll go, you can tell me. I mean, I'll introduce myself. I won't just walk up, but I'll tell him. First I'll establish a rapport with him. I'll let him know that I'm somebody in the media and that I'm, and I'll go, you can tell me. You really kill those people? That's how I'll do it. And maybe he will sense such a kindred spirit that he'll give it up. He'll go, you can't. He'll look at me. He'll go, it's just you and me, Alan. Is yours truly and you. Just sitting here talking. You can't tell anybody. And I'll go, ha-ha, I gotcha. And then I will run away, and I will check the recording that I've got of him.
Do you think?
Ha-ha! That's how I'm going to do it, too. Ha-ha! As I'm running away. So it'll trail off. Ha-ha! Do I think what?
Do you think O.J. is really that good at keeping a secret? Do you think he hasn't told one person that he knows?
Why would he?
Do you think there's like one person he can find like, listen, man, I just have to
I
get
think
this off my conscience."
I think this guy disassociated from this thing 30 years ago, and he's never looked back.
He probably blacked out.
Nice pun. Blacked out. No, he murdered 2 people
But
in a fit of rage, and they bungled the case. They just did. I mean, they bungled the case against him.
But I'm saying to have that on your heart for 30 plus years, you think he didn't tell one person that, even if he said like, listen, man, it's all of this is full of crap. Like, I did it.
Okay, let's say that he did. Those people didn't tell anybody.
That's what I'm saying. Because they're probably scared. They're like, if he did that to his wife and her friend and got away with it, what's he going to do to me?
Because he's not mad at you and he's 30 years older.
What's the
mean-
rules of confession? Like, if he were to tell a priest, does a priest have to tell somebody?
I think if
murder,
it's
I
a
think so,
capital
yeah.
offense, yes. You don't sit on a murder.
Well, I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know if he's like, man, that's between him and God. I'm just a messenger.
I
you
guess
know?
it depends on what kind of cool priest you got, but yeah, I don't think they're required to sit on that.
Like, hey, man, listen, I need you to pray for me. I need you to ask for forgiveness for me because you know I sliced that bitch.
I killed a couple people.
He doesn't do a bad OJ.
No.
It's a pretty good OJ. Butch Poundcake's just OJ.
Man, come on, man. You know I ain't killed those people.
2,000 yards. And from that point on, you know, I had 3 more rushing crowns. I won.
Jesus, this guy goes on and on and on. It's like a 6-minute Twitter video about when he used to play in Buffalo.
OJ ain't killed nobody. Ornithog James Simpson
Yeah.
had a bad temper.
The temper. The juice. I got a break. I want those Royal Blood. There's a transition. Royal Blood tickets for you. They are touring North America again. It's been a minute. They're going to do the Agora in September. So if you dig them and want to see them, I'll have tickets for you coming back.
This is the Alan Cox Show.
Everywhere on